Mike Radich here, and I'm now joined on the phone by MMA up-and-comer Sarah Moras. Sarah, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Sarah, you recently picked up a win at AFC 11. You won the fight by armbar. How'd you feel about your performance in the fight?
There's always stuff that you are happy about and that you need to work on. So I felt good. It was nice to win after coming off of a loss, especially a win that quickly and by submission was pretty cool. But yeah, I feel good about most of it.
What didn't you like about your performance? Because it was a quick fight and you finished it in the first round.
I wasn't as calm as I wanted to be for the first little bit of it. I sort of got wrapped up in her sort of, part. But I sort of calmed down and started working my game right before I threw the knee to the head. And then I went for the takedown, and that obviously didn't work very well, although I can fight from any position. So I was still all right, but it would have been nice if that takedown had landed on top. So there's some things that I definitely need to work on still, so that stuff like that doesn't happen again. But I did what I did, and I recovered from it well, so I'm happy about that.
What was the game plan going into the fight? Was it to take it to the ground, or were you planning on standing and she just clinched with you and then you tried to get the takedown, but it didn't work out that way? What was the game plan going into the fight?
My game plan, I actually wanted to keep it standing the first round. I haven't done much stand-up in my fights recently, so I really wanted to work that and gain some confidence with it in the cage. I'm comfortable with it in training, but it's a lot different when you're in the cage against another female. So I wanted to work that the first round. I knew she was a highly ranked jiu-jitsu girl, so I wanted to sort of show off my skills on the ground. I wanted to take it down in the second round, and I wanted to ground and pound into a submission, most likely an armbar, since that's what I seem to be doing. But it sort of happened a lot quicker than that.
It had to feel really good that you beat a fighter at their own game. She's been known for submitting people, and you finished her quickly.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. It felt really good. I didn't think it would happen that quickly, but training paid off, so I'm really happy.
How did it feel to be back fighting in Canada? You haven't done that in a long time.
It's pretty crazy. It felt pretty cool, even though I was in her hometown. It was like we flew to Winnipeg, and it sort of felt like I was in the U.S. or somewhere else, because I've never actually been anywhere else in Canada. So it was neat that it was like still Canada and everything, but it sort of didn't feel like it still.
Just curious, what did you say to the referee after the fight was over?
I said, like, she better get her arm checked out, because I heard it cracking like crazy. Like when I had armbarred Juliana in a couple fights ago, her arm wasn't making as bad of sounds as this arm was. So I just wanted to make sure that she got it looked at and that she was safe. And yeah.
In a lot of your fights, it looks like you really don't pay too much attention about what your opponent is going to do. You just basically go in there and only worry about what you're going to do. Because in this fight, it would seem that, with her being good on the ground, that you would want to stand more, but it looked like just, you didn't really worry too much about what she was doing. You just tried to implement your own game and make her fight your fight.
Yeah, my coach actually talks to us a lot about that. He always tells us to be the shark, to attack and not to worry about what they're going to do to you, to worry about what you're going to do to them. So it's sort of how I've been training, how I've been taught, and it seems to be working for me pretty well. So I got an amazing coach, David Lee, and yeah, that's how we do it at Toshido.
Your only loss is to Raquel Pennington. What did you learn from that fight?
I wasn't there mentally for that fight, which really sucks. It was tough, and I had a bad fight camp going into it, and I sort of let that go to my head. So I really learned how to, well, I think I did, at least for this fight, how to control what's going on in my head, so I'm not too worried about what's going to happen to me and everything, like you were saying before. Like, it just, my head wasn't in the right place for that fight, so I'm glad I found it again. So, yeah.
Was there anything that you learned in that fight that you were hoping to showcase in this fight, but the fight was just over so quickly that you didn't get a chance to use it?
Not really. Like, I feel like I didn't perform to the best of my abilities with the Raquel fight, so I was glad that I sort of got to show that, like, I do have ground skills and I have a bit of stand-up, although you didn't see very much of it. There's probably more in this fight than there was in my last two fights put together. So I just, like, I'm glad I got to work on some of that stuff and sort of show a different part of my game.
You're already back in the gym training. Is this the normal stuff that you do? Do you like to just be right back into training, or is this different this time because you suffered no damage in that fight and it happened so quickly? Is this normal for you, or given the current circumstance, you're just back in because you want to be training again?
If there were beds in my gym, I'd sleep there. Mm-hmm. I'm there all the time. It doesn't matter whether I win or lose or get beaten up or not. I'm always at the gym. I usually get my ass kicked way more in the gym than I do in a fight, and I always make it to class the next day. So it's just who I am. I'm just, like, eager to learn and eager to get better and to make it to the top. So I don't see the point in taking a day off, or unless I really need to. I just want to be there and learn. Even if I'm taking time off, I'm sitting on the side of the mats watching and learning stuff. So it's just sort of who I am. I'm just always there.
Is another reason why you're back into training so soon is because of this Invicta card that's coming up, and if maybe somebody gets injured and has to pull out and they'd be looking for somebody on short notice, is that maybe another reason why you're back into training so soon?
I wouldn't. That is a possibility, and we are talking to Invicta and stuff still, but I wouldn't say that changes how I am. That's how I always am. Mm-hmm. I'm always in the gym ready to go. But I'm definitely eating a lot cleaner with that in mind so that I can make weight if that does come up.
Do you still have a contract with Invicta?
I don't. It was a one-fight contract, but we're still keeping in touch with them. Mm-hmm. So hopefully I'll get another fight with them soon.
Mm-hmm. Sarah, I'm sorry for not being original, but I'm sure you've told this story 1,000 times, but how did you get your nickname, Cheesecake?
When I came out to a song called Cheesecake by the Muppets in the UK for my first pro fight, this guy I knew, his nickname is actually the Cheesecake Assassin, mm-hmm. and he was too pussy to come out to the song for himself. Mm-hmm. So he said I could use it, and he sort of dared me to use it, so I did. And then everywhere on the internet afterwards, it was Sarah Cheesecake Moras, so it kind of stuck. Mm-hmm.
With you being, always training and having to watch your diet, I'm sure you don't eat too much of that, right?
I don't. After not this fight, but the one before that, I did have a cheesecake party where everyone that came had to bring a different kind of cheesecake. So we had about 20 different kinds of cheesecake, and it was pretty awesome. But I haven't had cheesecake since then. Mm-hmm.
Have you started a new trend in MMA? Because Miesha Tate, she just changed her nickname to Cupcake, and a week before she changed her nickname, she was training with you. So have you started this new trend of using dessert as a nickname?
I'm not sure if I'm the start of it, but maybe a bit of influence on her, or I influenced her on her decision maybe a little. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure, but I like the way that it's going. Mm-hmm.
Sarah, in a perfect world, when would you like to be back fighting?
Tomorrow.
I thought I was going to get that answer. Sarah, real quick before I let you go, do you have any sponsors you would like to thank, and is there anything you'd like to say to the fans?
Just follow me on Twitter at Sarah Cheesecake or Facebook at the Sarah Cheesecake Boris. Yeah, that's about it.
Sarah, thank you for taking the time to talk. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.